According to Dr. Daniel Goleman, the author of the book Emotional Intelligence, most of us are subclinically psychotic. What do you think? Do you think Dr. Daniel Goleman is right when he says that most of us are subclinically psychotic? I think I agree with him. The phrase perfect health sounds totally acceptable when used in reference to physical health. However, when we are talking about psychological health, perfect psychological health sounds like something that's impossible. In fact, even saying ideal psychological health seems like a tall order. Perhaps optimal psychological health or functional psychological health sounds a little more plausible, doesn't it? So, at this point, I think I am going to go with Dr. Daniel Goleman's proposition that most of us are subclinically psychotic, and therefore I am going to make it my agenda to target functional psychological health as a plausible goal for me to achieve. Before I speak any further on this subject, I must tell you that if you have any concerns about your psychological well-being, please do seek professional help, be it a counselor or a coach or a therapist, a psychologist, or even a psychiatrist. Not being well psychologically is a bane, mainly because in most cases we don't even begin to realize that we have a problem. And the second reason why many people fail to seek the help they need is because they do not have access to a professional. And even if they do, the professional may not be equipped with the right tools to help this specific type of problem that an individual is facing. And the third reason why people do not seek professional help is concerns about the stigma, the social stigma that still sadly surrounds psychological impairment. Being functional in the psychological dimension is about achieving a dynamic equilibrium or balance. So we have to continue to learn and grow as we find ourselves in different situations. As we already know, all the pillars are interdependent. Not one is independent of any of the others. However, it would be very accurate to say that the psychological pillar is one pillar that has the largest impact on the others. Any damage to this pillar will impact the other pillars, all the other pillars, very negatively. And psychological pillar is also dependent on the well-being of the other pillars. So it is a very important pillar to work on, and we will find that every time we are working on any of the other pillars, we end up going back to working on the psychological pillar. Yes, we talk about working regardless of the pillar that we are trying to bring about improvement in. We always talk in terms of our thoughts, our feelings, and our behavior, which can be actions or words, right? So it's obvious that we cannot work on any of the pillars if we do not engage the psychological pillar. Let me explain this. For example, if we wanted physical health, we have to manage our mindset around physical health, right? So mindset what is mindset? Mindset is a set of beliefs. What are your beliefs? Your beliefs are a type of thoughts, right? So your values and beliefs are a type of thoughts, and that is what makes up your mindset. So since they are thoughts and beliefs, it is a part of psychology. Your mindset can only be impacted upon or changed positively to bring about results in any of the other pillars by working on your psychology pillar. And emotions, what is it? Again, psychology pillar, right? You would agree with me. And how do we portray ourselves to the world, to others around us in multiple contexts? Through our behavior, our actions and our words. And our actions and our words are, of course, a part of our psychological makeup. So this is a very important pillar, and you will see that a lot of work needs to be done in this area in order for us to minimally become functional, highly functional in the psychological pillar. Yeah, so we would like to be ideal and optimal, but let's start with functional. So what does functional mean? Functional means to not be impaired in any way, meaning not to exhibit unacceptable or inappropriate behavior, be it actions or words that we elicit to the world under any circumstances. Okay, that is our goal. We just want to be, we want to portray ourselves. I know the goal is not just about window dressing. Behavior cannot be consistent if it doesn't come from a place where this behavior is congruent with the underlying emotions and beliefs and values, yeah, which are thoughts. If they are not backed up by rock solid commitment, then we cannot be consistent. At one time or another, the facade or the mask that we wear for the outer world to see will be ripped off and our cover will be blown. So our first goal when we are reinventing ourselves in the psychological pillar, to make sure that we respond in an appropriate manner to all the situations around us. We need to be functional by making sure that our choice of words and actions when we respond to various situations and stimuli around us are appropriate and acceptable. It is not something that is indicative of a psychological impairment. Yes, we do want to later work on the inner layers, which is basically around our thoughts and emotions. So that brings in our personality and character, so that it is easier to be consistent in our choice of responses. We will build the necessary framework and principles to follow to regulate our emotions, our underlying emotions and thoughts. But the first step would be to be functional, and to be functional basically means to be able to respond in a manner that is acceptable and appropriate. Okay, so that is our first goal when we are reinventing ourselves in the psychological pillar. It is not easy, believe me. I have been through this, but I have done this without access to any help from professionals. So I am sharing this only for the benefit for those who find themselves in the same situation as I was in. But if you do have access to professional help, please go for it. Yeah, you don't have to take the long arduous journey that I had to go through. Yeah, because it is so important to achieve at least an ideal state when it comes to your psychological pillar. You must go for ideal. Yeah, but start with functional. That is what I'm trying to tell you. And for those of you who cannot access professional help, please be very careful when you decide that you're going to talk to someone who is not trained just because they're available to you in your immediate circle. Be very careful when you do this. If you found this video useful, please keep watching, because there will be one video around this theme every week. Thank you and bye bye. Have a great week ahead. See you again real soon.